Hello my scholars, you are welcome to my school YouTube channel and my name is Van. In today's video, we are going to be tackling JAMB CBT mathematics past question for the year 2024. Please stay with us, do not go anywhere, and we'll be right back. You are welcome back to my school YouTube channel. In today's video, we shall be solving question 1 to 25. So let's begin with question 1. Evaluate the determinant of the matrix M. So these are the elements of the matrix M. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So this is the matrix that is given to us that we are asked to find the determinant, or we are asked to evaluate the determinant, right? So to find the determinant of a given matrix, we have many methods that we can use. Okay, but I prefer to use this method. What I'm simply going to do is to write out the matrix again. So we have 3, 2, minus 1, 4, 1, 3, 6, minus 1, and 5. Okay, so the next step is for me to increase the number of columns of the matrix by rewriting the first 2 columns, right? So you are having 3, 2, and minus 1, and the second one is 4, 1, and 3. Okay, so I'll take a straight line down this way, take a straight line down like this, then take another straight line down. So I will multiply these 3 elements together. So 3 times 1 times 5, that is going to be 15. Then plus, now 4 times minus 1 times minus 1, that will be 4. Then plus 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 times 3 is 36, right? So we put all this in bracket, then minus. So the next step is to take the minor diagonal. So from here, we come this way, we come this way, and we come this way. So I will multiply again. Okay, so let me just open another bracket here. So minus 1 times 6, that is equals to minus 6. Okay, now let's move down to the next diagonal. 3 times minus 1 times 3, that is minus 9. Now remember, we're actually adding each of the result after multiplying. Okay, but since these are negative, right, these values are negative, and we know that negative is stronger than positive. Okay, so that's why we have this minus. Okay, most especially this. Okay, so let's move to the next one, which is 4 times 2 times 5. Okay, and that will be equals to 40, right? So let's add. So if we add everything here, definitely we are going to be having 55. Okay, so these are minus. Then if you look at this, minus 6 minus 9, that is minus 15, right? So minus 15 plus 40, that will give us 25. So here we'll be having 25. So 55 minus 25, that will be equals to 30. Okay, so the determinant of the matrix M is equals to 30. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, 30. Question 2. Find the amount if simple interest is paid yearly at 5% per annum for 3 years on a principal of 200,000 naira. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we know that amount is equals to principal plus interest, right? But in this question, we don't know the value of interest. So let's calculate for interest. And remember, interest is equals to principal times rate times time all over 100. Okay, so let's substitute the values that are given to us. Principal is 200,000 naira, then times rate is 5, then times time, which is 3, all over 100. So 0 will take us 0, 0 will take us 0, so that we have 2,000, okay, times 15, because 3 times 5 is 15, and that will be equals to 30,000. So we have 30,000 naira as the interest. Okay, but amount is equals to principal plus interest, right? So we just add so that we can get the amount. We just add the interest that we have calculated to the principal that is given to us in the question, and that will give us the amount. So here we'll be having 200,000 naira plus 30,000 naira from the interest. So that at the end of the day, the amount becomes 230,000 naira. Okay, let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question. Okay, and that is option D, 230,000 naira. Question 3. Y is inversely proportional to S and Y is equals to 4 when s is equals to 1 over 2. Find s when y is equals to 10. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So according to this question, we're told that y is inversely proportional to x, okay? So let us introduce our constant so that y is equals to k over s. So the next thing to do is to find the value of k, right? So we know that y is equals to 4, and we are looking for k, and we know that our x is equals to 1 over 2. So we are looking for k. So k will be equals to 4 times 1 over 2, which is equals to 2, right? So now that we have found the value of k, we can now solve for the value of x when y is equals to 10. So let us repeat the equation. So this is y is equals to, since we know that our k is equals to 2 all over x, right? And we are looking for the value of y. So we can just switch so that here we'll be having x to be equals to 2 over y, but we know y to be equals to 10, okay, which is x will now be equals to 2 over 10. So 2 here is 1, 2 here is 5, so that at the end of the day s is equals to 1 over 5. Okay, so let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, 1 over 5. Question 4. Find the angle subtended by an arc 33 centimeter long of a circle of diameter 28 centimeter. So let's move over to the board to find the angle subtended. Okay, so we know that length of arc or length of an arc is equals to theta all over 360 times 2 pi r. So we are looking for this we are looking for theta. So let's make theta the subject of formula first. So that if we make theta the subject of formula, we'll be having theta to be equals to length of arc, okay? Length of arc, then times 360, then divided by 2 pi r. Okay, so the next is for us to substitute our values. But remember, in this question, we are given diameter to be equals to 28. So from the diameter given to us, we can actually find the radius by simply dividing the diameter by 2, so that our r is equals to 14 centimeter. Okay, so let's substitute the values that are given to us. Length of arc is equals to 33, then times 360 all over 2 times 22 all over 7, then times 14. Okay, so this r is going to, this 7 is going to move up, so that we'll be having 33 times 360 times 7 all over 2 times 22 times 14. So let's break down one after the other. So 11 here is 2, 11 here is 3, right? Now 7 here is 1, 7 here is 2. So if I multiply these two together, I think we'll be having, okay, so let's break it down. So 2 here is 1, 2 here is 180, 2 here is 1, 2 here is 90, 2 here is 1, 2 here is 45. So that at the end of the day, we'll have 3 times 45 left, okay? So 3 times 45 will be equals to 135 degrees, okay? So the angle subtended is equals to 135 degrees. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option D, 135 degrees. Question 5. Solve 16 raised to power s is equals to 0.25. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So first thing first is for us to rewrite this. So this number is given to us in decimal fraction. So now let's convert it to fraction. So this is a decimal number, so we want to change it to fraction, right? So to change this to fraction, we rewrite this number 0.25 is the same thing as 0.25 divided by 1, right? Nothing changed. So since this is to 2 decimal places, we are going to multiply it by 100, and we also multiply the 1 by 100, right? Because we want to have an equivalent fraction, okay? So here we'll be having 25. If I times 0.25 by 100, I'm going to be having 25. Then if I multiply 1 by 100, I'm going to be having 100, right? So 25 here is 1. 25 into 100 is 4. So that at the end of the day, I'll be having 1 over 4. But remember that according to the law of indices, 1 over 4 is the same thing as 4 raised to power minus 1. Okay, so in place of 0.25, we are going to replace it with 4 raised to power minus 1. So 16 raised to power s is equals to 4 raised to power minus 1, right? So let's express this value here in index form so that it can have the same base such as the one we have on our right hand side, right? So if I rewrite this, I'll be having 2 raised to power 2, then the x in bracket is equals to 4 raised to power minus 1. So in this case, since the bases are the same, we can equate the powers, right? So you'll be having 2s is equals to minus 1. Since we are looking for the value of x, we'll simply divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 2. So that s is equals to minus 1 all over 2. Okay, so the value of s is equals to minus 1 all over 2. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, minus 1 over 2. Question 6. The ratio of men to women in a 20-member committee is 3:1. How many women must be added to the committee to make the ratio of men to women 3:2? So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we are told that we have a 20-member committee and the ratio of men to women in the committee is 3:1. So let's find the actual number of men. So number of men in the committee, the actual number is equals to, of course, we have to add this to get our total ratio. So in this case, we're having 3 over 4, where 4 represents the total ratio, right? Times 20. So 4 here is 1 and 4 here is 5. So that will be having 3 times 5, and that is 15. So the number of men is 15, while the number of women in the committee will be equals to 20 minus 15. And that is equals to 5, right? So we are looking for the new number that will be added to the number of women that will make the new ratio equal to 3:2, right? So let's say let that number be x, okay? Let the number be x. So here we'll be having 3:2, which is the new ratio, and that will be equals to the ratio of men, then ratio the number of women. So we added x to the number of women. So this is the same thing as 3/2, right? So here we'll be having 15 over 5 plus x, okay? So we simply cross multiply. So if we cross multiply like this, we'll be having 15 plus 3x, and that is equals to 30, right? This will be equals to 30. So if we collect like terms, we'll be having 3s to be equals to 30 minus 15, and that is equals to 15. Since we are looking for the value of s, we simply divide both sides by the coefficient of x, right? So let's do it here. So here we'll be having 3s is equals to 15. So if we divide both sides by 3, we'll be having s to be equals to 15 over 3, and that is equals to 5, right? So the new number of women or the new number that must be added to make the new ratio 3:2 is equals to 5. And you can as well check if your work is correct. So if we add 5 to this, that will be equals to 10. That will be equals, if we add 5 to 5, that will be equals to 10. So let's see, if I'm having 3:2 and on the other side I'm having 15:10, of course we can reduce by 5. So if I divide here by 5, I'm going to be having 3. If I divide here by 2, if I divide here by 5 also, I'm going to be having 2, which is equal to the new ratio. So that means what we did is very correct. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option B, 5. Question 7. If P star Q is equals to 2P plus PQ plus Q, find P when P star 2 in bracket minus P star 1 in bracket is equals to 40. So let's move over to the boards to provide answer to this question. So basically, to solve questions like this on binary operation, it's simply for you to know how to substitute values. So it's simply using the idea of substitution. Okay, so in this case, first of all, let's solve for what is in the first bracket first. So we are going to be solving for P star 2. Of course, remember that P here represents this P and this 2 here represent this Q. So that anywhere we see P, we replace it with P, and anywhere we see Q, we replace it with 2, and we fix it into this equation. Okay, so P plus PQ plus Q. So let's do that. So our P still remains 2P, then plus our Q is 2. So you'll be having 2P also, then plus 2, right? So let's tidy up this. So here, this will be equals to 4P plus 2. So we are done with what we have in the first bracket. So let's do the same for what we have in the second bracket, which is P star 1. So also do the same substitution again, so that we'll be having 2P plus P in this case, then here we're having plus 1, okay, plus 1. So if we tidy this up, we're having 3P plus 1. So let's bring both of them together now. So if we bring both of them together, we're having 4P plus 2 in brackets minus 3P plus 1 in bracket is equals to 40, okay, according to the question that is given to us. So here we just open the bracket, so that we're having 4P plus 2, then minus 3p, then minus 1 is equals to 40. Okay, so 4p minus 3p, that will be equals to p, then 2 minus 1, that equals to 1, right? So this is equals to 40. So we collect like terms. So p will be equals to 40 minus 1, and that is equals to 39. Okay, so the value of p is equals to 39. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 39. Question 8. Which of the following is a measure of central tendency? So a measure of central tendency is a statistical measure that identifies the center of a data set. Okay, and majorly we have 3 measures of central tendency, which are mode, median, and mean, right? So if we go through all the options, we find out that we have mean in option D. So that makes option D the correct answer to this question, mean. While the remaining 3, standard deviation, range, and variance, they are all measure of dispersion. Okay, so that makes option D the correct answer to this question. Question 9. From the figure above, find the length of chord PQ. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we know that length of chord or length of a chord is given as 2 arrow sine theta divided by 2. Okay, so the value of our theta for this question is not 2, it's not 30, because 30 just like say the half of the angle that is subtended by the chord PQ, right? So in this case, it's going to be equals to 2 times 30, right? And that will be equals to 60 degrees, okay? So let's substitute. We know that the radius given to us is equals to 9. So you'll be having 2 times 9, then times 60 all over 2. So 60 divided by 2, that will be equals to 30. So you'll be having 2 times 9, then times sine 30. And sine 30 is equals to 1 over 2. Okay, so we'll be having 2 times 9 times 1 over 2 in place of sine 30. So 2 here is 1 and 2 here is also 1. So that at the end of the day, we have the length of the chord PQ to be equals to 9 centimeters. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question. And that is option D, 9 centimeters. Do you know that you can take practice question with our simulated JAMB CBT past question? All you need to do is to click on the link in the description below, and that will take you to my school website. There you will have to download my school mobile app for your Android devices and my school software for your laptops and computers. Please go ahead and start practicing. Moving on to question 10. Identify the equation of the shaded region in the given graph. So this is the given graph, and we are asked to identify the region of the shaded that we should identify the shaded region in the graph. Okay, so first of all, let us look at the line. So if you look at the line is broken. So since the line is broken, it does not suggest street inequality. So in that case, we are going to be having whether it is greater than or less than, but not greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. Okay, so let's identify whether it's going to be greater than or less than, right? So if you look at this, the right hand side, okay, of the line is shaded, so that indicates that it is greater than, right? It indicates that it is greater than. And you can see what this line simply, the shaded region here is showing is that the line is actually greater than 1. That means everything above 1 is included, right? It's greater than 1, so everything above 1 is included, right? So in this case, our answer will be x is greater than 1. Okay, and that makes option C the correct answer to this question. S is greater than 1. I believe you are enjoying this content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 11. In how many ways can 6 people sit around a table? Okay, so to calculate the number of ways 6 people can sit around the table, we simply use n minus 1 in bracket factorial. Okay, where n does stand for the number of people. Okay, so in this case, the number of people is 6, right? So in that case, we'll be having 6 minus 1, that will be equals to 5 factorial. And 5 factorial is the same thing as say 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that will be equals to 120. Okay, so that makes option A the correct answer to this question. Question 12. The graph above represents inequality. So this is the graph that is given to us, and we are asked to identify the graph that we are asked to identify the inequality that this graph represents. So first of all, let's look at the line. So if you look at the line, it is a broken line. That indicates that, or that tells us that the inequality is not a straight one. So it's not straight inequality, right? So let's identify whether it should be greater than or less than. Now, if you look at this graph carefully, you discover that the lower part is shaded. That simply means that it is less than. So we can rewrite this equation here, put it in equality form to be equals to 3x plus 4y is less than 12. So we've done that. Now, if you look at this line actually cuts the positive side of x, and this line also cuts the positive side of y. Okay, so that indicates that for x is greater than or equal to 0, and for y is greater than or equal to 0. So that makes option D the correct answer to this question. Question 13. Let matrix A be equals to what? All the elements that are listed in this bracket, and matrix B equals to the elements that are listed in the bracket, and we are asked to find A plus 2B. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So basically, the first thing first is for us to find 2B, right? Meaning 2 times all the element of matrix B. So in this case, we're having 2 times bracket 1, 4 minus 2 minus 3, 3 minus 1. Okay, so 2b now will be equals to, so 2 times 1 will be equals to 2, 2 times minus 3 will be equals to minus 6, 2 times 4 will be equals to 8, 2 times 3 will be equals to 6, 2 times minus 2 will be equals to minus 4, and 2 times minus 1 will be equals to minus 2. So now that we've gotten the value of 2b, then we can now find A plus B, okay? So remember that A is 2, 5 minus 1, minus 4, 1, 3, 0, and 2B from here is 2 minus 6, 8, 6, minus 4, and minus 2, okay? So we just add. So we add the first element on the first column of the first matrix to the first element in the first column of the second matrix, right? So in this case, we're having 2 plus 2, that will be equals to 4. Then minus 4 plus 8, that will be equals to 4 again. Then 3 plus minus 4, that will be equals to minus 1. Then here we're having 5 plus minus 6, that will be equals to minus 1. And here we're having 1 plus 6, that will be equals to 7. And 0 plus minus 2, that will be equals to minus 2. So let's put this in brackets. So this is the result of matrix A plus 2B. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question. So let's look at what we had. I think we have 4, 4 minus 1, then minus 1, 7 minus 2, okay? So that makes option A the correct answer to this question. Question 14. The sum to infinity of a GP is 100. Find its first term if the common ratio is minus 1 over 2. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we know that the sum to infinity of a GP is given as A all over 1 minus arrow. But this is provided that arrow is less than 1. So in this case, arrow is actually less than 1 because we're having minus 1 over 2. Okay, which is less than 1. Okay, so let's substitute the values that are given to us. Since we are given the sum of infinity to be equals to 100, we write 100 here. We are looking for A, we don't know. So we bring our 1, then minus 1 over 2, right? So this becomes A all over 1 plus 1 over 2. So 1 plus 1 over 2 is the same thing as A all over 3 over 2, right? So since we are looking for A, we simply cross multiply. So A will be equals to 100 times 3 all over 2. So 2 here is 1, 2 here is 5, okay, 2 here is 50, right? So that will be having A to be equals to 50 times 3, and that will be equals to 150, okay? So the value of A is equals to 150. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 150. Question 15. PQ arrow is a triangle such that PQ, line PQ is equals to line Q arrow, which is equals to 8 centimeter, and QP arrow is equals to 60 degree. Find the area of angle PQ arrow. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So this is just the graphical interpretation of the question that is given to us, and we are asked to calculate the area of this triangle. Okay, so to calculate the area of a triangle when two sides are known, we simply use this formula: area of triangle is equals to 1 over 2 AB sine theta. Okay, so in this case, our theta is equals to 60 degrees, and our AB and the two sides that are given to us will be equals to 8. So we just substitute 1 over 2 times 8 times 8, then times sine 60. So sine 60 is the same thing as root 3 all over 2. Okay, sine 60 degrees is the same thing as root 3 all over 2. Now remember, these are one of those special angles. Okay, so 2 here is 1, 2 here is 4, right? 2 here is 1 also, 2 here is also 4. So we'll be having 4 times 4 times root 3. So 4 times 4 is 16. That will give us 16 root 3 centimeter. Okay, so the area of the triangle PQR is equals to 16 root 3 centimeter square. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 16 root 3 centimeter square. Question 16. The Venn diagram above shows the number of students offering physics and chemistry in a class of 65. What is the probability that a student selected from the class offers physics and chemistry if every student offers at least one subject? So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we are told in this question that the number of students is equals to 65. The number of those offering chemistry is equals to 30. Those offering physics, 45. So basically, we are actually looking for the number of those who offer chemistry and physics, right? Since each of the students, at least each of the students offer one subject. Okay, if every student offer at least one subject, right? So to simply do this, so we just go 65 is equals to 30 minus x. Okay, so this 30 minus x here represent the number of students that offer chemistry only. Okay, plus x, the number of students that offer both, then plus 45 minus s, the number of students that offer physics only, and that will be equals to the total number of the students in the class, right? So this, we take out this, so that at the end of the day, 65 is equals to 30 plus 45 minus x, and that will be equals to 75 minus s. So we can collect like terms. If we collect like terms, s will be equals to 75 minus 65, and that will be equals to 10. Okay, so the number of students that offer both subjects is equals to 10. But in this question, we are asked to find the probability that a student selected from the class offers physics and chemistry. Okay, if every student offer at least one subject. So we know that the total number of students in the class is 65, right? So for us to get that probability, okay, of student offering, that is this, the probability of this will be equals to, okay, 10, which is the number of students that offer both subjects, all over the total number of students, right? So 5 here will be equals to 2, and 5 here will be equals to 13, right? So the probability of getting a student or selecting a student from the class that offer both physics and chemistry is equals to 2 over 13. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 2 over 13. Question 17. From the top of a building 10 centimeter high, the angle of elevation of a fruit on top of a tree, 25 centimeter, is 30 degrees. Calculate the horizontal distance between the building and the tree. So let's move over to the boards to provide answer to this question. So this is the graphical representation of that question. So this way here represents the tree, which is 25 centimeter high according to the question, and this is the building, which is 10 meter high. Okay, so we are asked to find the distance between the tree and the building. Okay, so but we are told that the angle of elevation, meaning you are looking up. Okay, so the angle of elevation is 30 degrees, right? Now remember that the tree is 10 meter high. So remember the base here is a rectangle, right? So according to the diagram, the base here is a rectangle, and the opposite sides of the rectangle are equal. So if the height of the tree is from here to here and it's 10 centimeter, that means from this point on, if the height of the building is 10 centimeter from here to here, that means from this point, okay, to here is also 10 centimeter on the tree, right? So that means the remaining part is going to be 15 centimeter, and we are looking for x. Remember, this from here to here is also equal from this point to here, right? So here we have opposite and we have adjacent. So in this case, we are going to be using tan. So tan theta is equals to opposite over adjacent. So our tan is 30 degree. Okay, our theta, sorry, is 30 degree, and our opposite is 15, and adjacent is x, right? So we are looking for the value of s. It's just for us to make s the subject of formula, so that s is equals to 15 over 30 degrees, right? But remember that tan 30 is one of those special angles, and tan 30 is equals to 1 over root 3. Okay, so s is equals to 15 over 1 over root 3. So if we rewrite this, we'll be having 15 divided by 1 over root 3. Of course, we can change this, so this becomes 15 times root 3 over 1, right? So that our answer becomes 15 root 3 centimeter. Okay, so the distance between the building and the tree is equals to 15 root 3 centimeter. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 15 root 3 centimeter. Question 18. A boy bought oranges at the rate of 24 naira for 5 and sold it at the rate of 30 naira for 4 oranges. Find the profit made of the ones sold. Okay, so the number of oranges sold here is actually 4, right? So we want to find the profit made for those 4 sold, right? So first of all, to do this, we are going to be first of all calculating for the cost per orange, and we'll also calculate for the cost per orange sold. Okay, so let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So cost price per orange in this case will be equals to 24 divided by 5, right? So 24 divided by 5 equals to 4.8, right? Now let's calculate for selling price per orange. So selling price per orange will be equals to 30 divided by 4, okay? And that will be equals to 7.5. Now in this case, profit per orange in this case will now be equals to 7.5 minus 4.8, and this will be equals to 2.7, right? So now we want to calculate for profit for 4 oranges. So profit for 4 oranges in this case will be equals to 4 times 2.7. Now remember, they only sold 4 oranges and we are looking for the profit for 4 oranges. But remember that profit per orange equals to 2.7, right? So to calculate for profit for the 4 oranges sold will be equals to 4 times 2.7. So this will be equals to 10.8, okay? So in naira, so that will be 10.8 naira. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, 10.80 naira. Question 19. Differentiate y is equals to 5s plus 1 in bracket raised to power 4. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So to differentiate this, we are going to be using the product rule. Okay, so what we are going to do first of all, we are going to say let u be equals to what we have inside the bracket, which is 5x plus 1, right? So we now differentiate this with respect to s. Du ds in this case will be equals to 5, right? But remember that our y is now equals to u raised to power 4, right? So we now differentiate y with respect to u. So here we'll be having dy du is equals to 4u, then raised to power what we have here, raised to power minus 1 from this 4. So in that case, we have raised to power 3, right? So now we are looking for dy dx, right? So for us to get dy dx, we just combine these two. So we have dy du, then times du dx, and that will be equals to 5 times 4 bracket u, okay, u in bracket raised to power 3, right? Of course, du, we cancel out du, so that we have dy ds left, right? So we multiply this. 5 times 4 is equals to 20, but remember that our u is equals to 5x plus 1, so we repeat that, 5x plus 1 in bracket raised to power 3, okay? So this becomes our answer, 20 bracket open, 5x plus 1 bracket close raised to power 3. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A. Question 20. Simplify 5 plus root 7 over 3 plus root 7. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we are asked to simplify 5 plus root 7 over 3 plus root 7, right? So to simplify this sort, simply we are going to multiply both the denominator and the numerator by the conjugate of the denominator. Okay, so the conjugate of 3 plus root 7 is equals to 3 minus root 7. So we are going to be using 3 minus root 7 to multiply both the numerator and denominator of this question. So 5 plus root 7 over 3 plus root 7 will now be multiplied by 3 minus root 7 over 3 minus root 7. Okay, so let's simplify the numerator first. So 5 will multiply 5 to give us 15. 5 will multiply minus root 7 to give us minus 5 root 7. Then root 7 will multiply 3 to give us plus 3 root 7. And root 7 multiply minus root 7 to give us minus 7. So this places just the differences of 2 squared. So this will be 3 raised to power 2 minus root 7 in bracket raised to power 2. Right, so let's tidy up the numerator. So 15 minus 7 will be equals to 8, and minus 5 plus 3 will be equals to minus 2 root 7. Okay, then here we'll be having 9 minus 7. So this will be equals to 8 minus 2 root 7 over 2, right? So this is the same thing as, say, 8 divided by 2 minus 2 root 7 divided by 2. So 2 here is 1, 2 here is 4, 2 here is 1. So that at the end of the day, we'll be having 4 minus root 7. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question. And that is option B, 4 minus root 7. If you have any question to ask, please feel free to ask your question by simply clicking on the link in the description below, and that will take you to my school website. There you can ask all your questions and solution will be provided within a short period of time. Moving on to question 21. Find the perimeter of a triangle whose vertices pass through the points 3 and 2, 4 and 5, and 6 and 2 in sword form. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So this is the triangle, and these are the points, and these are each of the vertices. Okay, so we know that perimeter simply means distance around the shape, right? So we need to first of all calculate for the distance between these 2 points, okay, these 3 points. So to do that, it's just for us to to use the formula for calculating the distance between 2 points. Okay, so let's say we have PQ as the 2 points, right? So the distance between them will be equals to the square root of x2 minus x1 raised to power 2 in bracket, of course, then minus y2 minus y1 in bracket raised to power 2. Okay, so that's what we are going to be using to find the distance between, okay, that's what we are going to be used to find the length of each of the side of the given triangle. Okay, so let's start with this point. Okay, so let's call here P and call here Q and call here R to make it easy for us. So let's calculate for the distance between PQ. Okay, so the distance between PQ will be equals to, of course, remember this is our X1, this is our Y1, so this is X2 and this is Y1. Okay, so we'll do the same thing here. So this will be S3, let's call here Y, let's call here Y32. Okay, so to calculate for the distance between these two, we just go X2 minus X1 all in bracket square, then plus Y2 minus Y1 all in bracket square, right? So this becomes root of 6 minus 3 in bracket square, then plus, okay, this one is 2, so plus 2 minus 2 in bracket square. So if we tidy this up, we'll be having roots. So this minus this will give us 3, and 3 raised to power 2 is 9. Then plus 2 minus 2 is 0, and 0 raised to power 2 is 0. So here we'll be having root 9, and root 9 is equals to 3. Okay, so let's do the same for P arrow. Okay, so for P arrow, we'll be having, so let's go, we'll be having 4 minus 6 all in bracket square, then plus 5 minus 2 all in bracket square. Okay, so 4 minus 6 will give us minus 2, and minus 2 square is equals to 4, then plus, of course, here is 5 minus 2, that will be 3, and 3 raised to power 2 is 9. So if we add these two together, that will be equals to 13. Okay, that will be equals to 13. So here we are having root 13. Okay, so now let's do it for Q arrow. So for Q arrow, we'll be having, so let's start, we can start from anywhere anyway. So here we're having 4 minus 3, all in bracket square, then plus 5 minus 2, all in bracket square. Okay, so 4 minus 3 is 1, and 1 raised to power 2 is also 1, then plus, here we'll be having 5 minus 2, which is 3, and 3 raised to power 2 is 9. So if we add 9 and 1 together, that will be equals to 10. So here we'll be having root 10, right? But we are asked to calculate for the perimeter of the triangle. Perimeter simply means distance around the plane shape, right? So in this case, we know that from here to here is equals to 3, from here to here is equals to 13, and from Q to arrow is equals to 10. So we just bring them together. So the perimeter of the triangle, okay, the perimeter in this case will be equals to 3 plus root 10 plus root 13. Okay, so this is the perimeter of the triangle. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question. Okay, and that makes option C the correct answer to this question: 3 plus root 10 plus root 13. Do you have better steps or solution to any of these questions? Please share this information with us by going to the comment section below to comment the question number and the solution you will wish to share. Question 22. Find the 7th term of the sequence minus 10, 50, minus 250. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So we are asked to find the 7th term. Okay, so the 7th term of the sequence is given as A, arrow raised to power 6. Okay, and this is gotten from the fact that T7 is equals to, from the nth term of a sequence, right? So the nth term of a sequence is given as A times arrow raised to power n minus 1, right? Since we are calculating for 7th term, in place of n, we replace it with 7. So 7 minus 1 will give us 6, right? So from the sequence, the common ratio will be equals to minus 5, because the first term is minus 1 and the second term is 50. So 50 divided by minus 10, that will be equals to minus 5, right? So we just substitute these values into the equation, okay? So here we'll be having T7 to be equals to, remember the first term is minus 10. So we'll be having minus 10 times, in bracket, minus 5 raised to power 6. Now, since what we have here, since the power here is even, definitely what we are going to be having here is going to be positive, right? Since we have minus here, so it's going to be positive. More or less like, say, minus times minus, times minus times minus times minus, so the result is going to be positive, right? So here we'll be having minus 10 times, so this will be equal to 15625, right? So if we multiply this, at the end of the day, we'll be having that the 7th term is equals to 156,250. So we are going to be having minus, sorry. So minus 156,250. So let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question. And that is option C, minus 156,250. Question 23. The scores of students in a test are recorded as follows: 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 3, and 5. Find the mode of the mark. So mode simply means the data that occur most in a given data set, right? So if we check very well, the number of 3s, we have about 3 occur thrice, okay, 4 occur just once, 2 occur twice, 5 occur twice, 7 occur once, okay? So the mode of the mark is equals to 3. So that makes option B the correct answer to this question. Question 24. Point P with coordinates x and 4 and point Q with coordinates 10 and 8 are 2 points joined by a straight line in a plane. If the midpoint of the line is 9 and 6, find the value of S. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this question. So to calculate for midpoint, okay, so we look for we simply look for the coordinate, the x and y coordinate of the line. Okay, so the x coordinate will be x1 plus x2 all over 2. Why the y coordinate? Okay, this is the x coordinate. Why the y coordinate is y1 plus y2 all over 2. So in this case, you can find out that for this question, the x coordinate is given to us to be 9. Okay, so in that case, we'll be having 9 is equals to, our s1 is equals to x, then plus our s2 is equals to 10 divided by 2. Okay, so we simply cross multiply and make x the subject of formula in order to get the value of x. So this will be equals to x plus 10 is equals to 18. Okay, is equals to 18. So s now becomes 18 minus 10, and that will be equals to 8. Okay, so let's return back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option C, 8. Question 25. Find s if 16 raised to power 2 plus s over 4 is equals to 64 raised to power s. So let's move over to the board to provide answer to this indicial equation. So we can approach this any way we want to. We can decide to cross multiply first, or we can just decide to apply the law of the division law of indices here to get our answer. Okay, so let's apply the law of indices. So the first thing first is for us to make sure that we write 16 in index form so that it will have the same base as 4. Okay, so if we do that, we'll be having 4 raised to power 2 bracket open 2 plus x all over 4, and this is equals to 64 raised to power x, right? So basically our 4 here is actually raised to power 1. Okay, so this becomes 4 raised to power, of course we multiply this out to clear the bracket, so we're having 4 plus 2x minus 1. Okay, and this is equals to 64 raised to power x. So we can as well still express this 64 in index form so that the base also will be equals to 4. Okay, because we can actually do that. So here we'll be having 4 raised to power 3 plus 2x, because this will be 4 minus 1. Then this will be equals to 4 raised to power 3 raised to power x, because 4 raised to power 3 is equals to 64, right? Now if you check very well, the bases are the same, so in that case we can equate the powers. So that will be having 3 plus 2x is equals to 3x. So we just make x the subject of formula by moving this 3x to the other side of the equation, so that 3 is equals to 3x minus 2s, and that is equals to s. So we can say that our s is equals to 3. So let's go back to the screen to pick the correct answer to this question, and that is option A, 3. I believe you enjoyed this video content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, put on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.